The crumb is what the inside of the bread is called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you want like a nice spongy, see you've got lots of air holes and
You want air
it's
holes
even.
in it.
Well, yeah, that's what makes it rise. And then we have a nice crisp, firm crust that's chewy. You should probably read the recipe as we go along here so you understand what's happening. I've already read it.
Gosh.
At the top in that little green box, the percentage of whole wheat to, what did that say, 278? Yeah. Okay, so that's the whole wheat. Now I think it says 157. Yeah. Notice how in the recipe I don't have that other type of flour, so I'll just add one together. It's not needed. I can't find it. I guess I could order it online, but I don't really care. The diabolstic malt flour.
Oh, okay. It's optional.
Yeah,
9
but
grams.
You can't skip it. You have to add that amount of the other type. See?
Okay.
Do you see what I did there? Yeah.
Yep. So now she's weighing the bread flour to go with the whole wheat.
This recipe is unusual where you add the salt right away.
So she's just added the salt into there in the two different flour types.
And also be gentle when you do it because it could poof around, you know? So like kind of, I like to do like little swirls around. Thinking about your bread and who's gonna eat it. Yeah, this is where you put the love in. La la la, my bread. Make sure the bottom is mixed. This is that opportunity moment. Make sure it's good and mixed. Step 2, and we need 30 grams of starter ready to go. I refreshed this the other day, so it's good to go. Okay, so it's sticky and gooey. I like to use a spoon. This is why I need a spoon.
So there's enough starter in there for another.
Yeah, 2 batches. So what I usually do is, like, before we put this away, we'll refresh it so that I'll have a whole jar again.
Okay.
Well, I don't have to.
And then if you...
I could leave it till the end of the week and then do it then. It doesn't really matter. Just like at least once a week I gotta feed it or it's gonna run out of food and turn into the other type.
Okay.
The hooch cone. Alright, so now this is gonna be here on its own, so I'm just gonna consolidate it. Alright, so this is important. You never close it tight. You gotta leave it so the air can get in and out, but you know, it's attached. If you don't feed it flour and water, yeah, it needs to drink, it dies.
Okay. And then it turns into what?
Well, at first it'll just sit, and it's that other stuff that you can make crackers or waffles or pancakes out of. After that, after a while it will turn black and gross and you won't want it, you'll have to throw it away.
Okay.
Like this is ready. I need a cup of it before I have enough to do something with.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
I'm waiting for a cup. We'll probably have some after all that. I might put that in there and then make a whole new one or something. 30 grams of our starter into the bowl. Again, the little spatula is handy for little dishes and things.
Whisk the wet ingredients together in a small bowl until uniform. So 30 grams of starter and 368 grams of water. It doesn't say what temperature, but it needs to be warm water.
There's a certain temperature, it mentions it in the other part of the book. I just don't remember it offhand.
Well, how do you know your water's the right temperature right now?
Because I remember the temperature it feels.
Oh, okay.
It's at that temperature.
Okay.
It can be a little bit, I forgot. It could probably be a little bit warmer than that, but if it isn't warm, it won't like, if it's too hot, it'll kill it. But the warmness like gets it going, right?
Okay.
Or you could have that funny tool in those kits.
Okay.
Because when you would use that tool.
But you use that for the flour mix as well.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So I can use the funny tool for both.
This is why I like the big roll. Otherwise you be splashing it all over and you might lose some.
Okay, Susan's saying you can't damage it right now in this stage, so this is where you really want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed. Later on, after an hour, we're going to fold it in 10 folds, and then you'll probably need to be more gentle with it at that point in time.
Yep, after that you just kind of real gentle with your fingers.
Yeah, so this is your chance right now to get the bread really mixed well. And you don't want to use your hands.
No, I don't recommend it. You could if you had nothing else, but you would have to keep dipping them in water, which would keep adding water to your recipe, and
it's sticky. Yeah.
Yeah, this works the best because you can do different things with it. See, I got that. I also can pick it up, flip it, which is necessary to do a couple times.
Yeah. So on your hands, it's just gonna keep
and
sticking.
then you do it until like you can get it all off the bowl and it's all in this ball, and it will look different in an hour. You'll see.
Okay. Awesome.
I also like to cover it just because like the house is, we have the heat on. Whatever the heat is on, the house is gonna be colder, right, in general. It's like I have it set at like 68. So just, I just give it a little blanket. And then I like to have, my sister even has glass bowls for the bottom part, which if you're gonna end up getting a bowl.
Is that so you can watch it?
If you have them, so you can watch it because you can see you want the bubbles to be all the way through it.
So now she's writing the mix times because we have to wait 1 hour, and then
I'm gonna set an alarm for
10
an hour.
times.
So that we come back and mix it.
So what Susan has done that I didn't record was she's taken 12 grams of the starter and put it into this. She's now adding that 12 grams to this jar, and that starter came from the old jar that's in the sink now. And there's always leftovers, and then leftovers are accumulated into this other jar that she could later make crackers. There's a whole chapter in the back of the book that tells you what to do with your leftover starter that you don't use. She just keeps it in a jar in the fridge. So there's always 2 jars in the fridge. So when she makes her next batch of bread, she'll be pulling from this, and then it'll be left over again, and the process repeats. Okay, so she's adding some water. Is this the lukewarm water again? Same temperature? Okay. The recipe on that page right there, I think it says 43, I don't have my glasses on, is what she's refrigerating at the moment to get her starter going. Refresh your starter. She's refrigerating at the moment. Okay. So she just added that water into that 12 grams.
I don't have one of those little thingies, so I just use a fork at this one.
Okay. So basically, she's feeding the yeast right now.
Now it's been dispersed and it's in its water. Now we're going to feed it. It eats flour.
Okay.
Flour is the food. Tiny spatula. We're going to use the rubber band to mark the level it's at. Okay. And you're going to put the lid on, but don't screw it all the way. Let it have air. I like to pound it on the book to get it
flat.
Yeah, and then you put the rubber band at the level that it's at. So you can tell when it's risen enough.
Needs to be doubled or something?
Because 2 to 3 times you can use it to bake or put it in storage. So you can, if you don't have a heating pad, you leave it on a book or a cutting board, maybe like a wood one or something. I'm just gonna put it there since we have that out. When it is risen by half, you can store it in the refrigerator or keep it at room temperature. Some people just keep it on their kitchen. They don't keep it in the fridge because it'll last longer. When it's around its peak height, usually 2 to 3 times its original height, you can bake with it.
Okay.
So when it's double, I can put it in the fridge. If I wait all the way to the top, then I can use it to bake.
Okay.
If I put it in the fridge, it'll get there eventually. It just goes slower because it's in the fridge.
All right.
It retards it.
Yeah. So how long do you reckon that will take?
And so then if it starts to deflate, it needs food again. And that's like that's the same thing as when I overproofed the dough the other day. It went too long and it started to deflate.
Okay.
And that's why it wouldn't rise in the oven very much, you see. But I sprinkled it with enough flour. I think that's why it got a little bit at the end.
Okay.
It's like if you understand what's happening with all the ingredients, it helps you understand what to do and why things are happening. Okay. So we are...
How long is that going to take to...
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes a couple
Varies.
hours, sometimes half a day.
Okay. But not a week.
Oh gosh, no.
Okay. Bit. We're at 1 hour now, coming back to do 10 folds.
No, I think
That's
it's like 12.
3, 4,
It's like 12, I think.
5.
I think it's more like 12,
6.
not 10.
Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is the middle getting?
Do you see how it looks smoother than it did before?
Yeah. So you did that all in there. Okay. And then you flip it over. That's it. Awesome. Maybe different recipes have different amounts because this one says 10. That number's 10.
Well, you want it to look mixed. So.
Yeah. And that's probably a wider circle. Okay, and now it's going to sit there for about 12 hours.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's already in an hour.
11 p.m. And it is bubbling on the lid.
Oh, that looks good. Let's do it.
You want to do it? Yeah. Okay, we're going to do it.
Smell it?
Oh, okay.
It doesn't smell like flour anymore. It smells more like bread. Okay. Normally you would just form this into one loaf or whatever you're making, but I'm making 2 loaves, so I'm gonna just scoop it a little and then cut it down. Now I'm gonna do the forming of the loaf on each side because I'm making 2 loaves. Sit for 15 minutes and then we put them in there.
Okay. So they're resting right now?
Yeah. After they rest, we will shape them into whatever shape we want them to be, and then we're going to bake them. time for like on the sides. It'll dry out otherwise. Just want to make sure it's like coated. If you put it in one of those baskets, you're not going to have this. You're going to be flouring the basket instead.
Okay.
This is like upside down, sort of. So you just want to make sure it's covered. And then
You don't do the scoring part yet? Okay. Was that tomorrow before you put in the oven?
yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna hold it nice and have nice cover. It doesn't dry out. So it has room to expand.
It's going to expand more, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Sometimes they do a lot. It depends. Like it's always different. That's the thing. You can't count on it to be the same every time. You're like, just when you think it's gonna do a certain thing, you're like, oh, do something else. And then we're gonna take it and we're gonna put it in the refrigerator. Now this is called proof, where it just develops more flavor. The cold temperature retards the progression of the growth. Put this on top to cover it.
Susan is heating up the stone. These things had been sitting in the fridge, according to the recipe for this one, is 10 to 12 hours, so it was overnight.
Your oven has to be good and hot. Put the oven stone in there, and so I usually let it go like at least 20 minutes. The back of the book also has a reference how to adjust your bread to your liking, like if you like it more or less sour, or if you like a harder crust or a softer crust. So it reads that part of the book too. It's all really interesting. I just cut this off because otherwise it'll burn in the oven. If you're not using little pans, then it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't?
Well, because you wouldn't, remember I told you it would be, so if it wasn't in the...
It would be upside down.
Yes, it would be upside down in your basket, alright? So say it was the whole loaf, it would be in this, okay? Instead of two. It would be in this, and you would have had parchment paper on top while it was doing its thing in the fridge. Okay, so now when you're going to be going like this to it. We'll take it, there's pictures in the book.
Okay.
And then your bread would be there.
Right.
Bread, right.
Yeah.
So if there's like excessive flour somewhere, you might just disperse it. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the lamb. You're gonna cut just under the skin. You're not gonna go into it and jab it. We're just making a decorative cut kind of thing.
And what does this do?
This allows it to rise in the oven. It's hard because usually you do it one cut, but I'm in a pan here, so I have to kind of do that. Set your timer for 20 minutes for this particular recipe. Put on your oven mitts.
Voila! taken the bread out of the oven now, 20 minutes or 15 minutes later, and has set it on the cooling rack. And voila! Those are our 2 new loaves of bread that took many, many days to make.